Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing my monthly reading wrap up. So February has come and gone. It is already gonna be March, which is really interesting. So I read 10 books in February. Today is the last day of February, and I'm currently reading a book for a video that will not be finished by today. I am going to talk about a book that I read in January that did not end up in my January reading wrap up because I finished it on the last day. I am going to be talking about that book as well. So I'm going to be talking about 11 books, but I did actually read 10. Without further ado, let's just get into the books that I read in February. Eyes on Me by Sarah Kate. This is the second book in the Salicious Players Club series, and boy do I have thoughts. I don't normally do Goodreads reviews, but for this book, I had to because I did not enjoy this book. I think I'm gonna give it a 2 stars. I really tried to go into this book with an open mind because it was a trope that I don't normally read. I read it like on Wattpad back in the olden days. This is a stepbrother romance, and back in the olden days, Harry Styles was the main lead, okay? That was redeeming quality enough for me when I was in like middle school, high school. This one, yeah, no, Harry Styles was not the main lead. I was really excited for Garrett, who is the main character in this story. I was really excited for him. I thought I was gonna love his book. I think he, in some parts, really annoyed me. Some of the things he did and said to the female main character when she was younger just rubbed me the wrong way. Like, you're a grown man and you're saying this stuff to a literal 8-year-old or a 13-year-old, however old she was. Met when she was 8 and he was 21. Which means for most of her life, they've been related. I didn't like that. The fact that she knew him as her stepbrother for most of her life, did not like. I thought the voyeur was fun. I liked that part, but like, because I didn't like the main characters, I didn't like the parts. It felt uncomfortable to me. It was very uncomfortable. And I feel like if you're gonna try and sell a step-sibling romance to me, please don't have them address each other as brother and sister for 90% of the book. If you want to see my full rant on Goodreads, I put a full rant. That's the first book. Then I went to the first book in the byeeeeeee series by Elle Kennedy, which is The Chase. This follows Fitz in summer. I was really excited for this book and I enjoyed it. It was just like an okay book. It definitely didn't make me feel the things that The Mistake or The Goal did in the Off-Campus series, but it was a fun book. I think I give it a 3.75. It was good. I enjoyed it. I just wasn't that connected to the characters. I didn't feel a connection with them, and that's probably because I was reading it when I was going on a trip and I was kind of distracted with TV and people talking to me, so that could have a reason as to why I didn't feel connected to the characters. I feel like their connection was good together. I feel like some parts of it I wasn't really loving, like they're fighting. I was just like, guys, let's get it together. Like, I was like, come on guys, like let's just talk it out. We gotta have it out. We gotta have it out. That's how I wanted to be. So that's that one. Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This is the first book in the Caraval series. I had a fun time reading this. I gave this book a 4 stars. It is one of my favorite YA fantasies because this setting that we're in is so spectacular. Like, I don't know why, but the whole carnival setting really intrigues me. And the whole premise of this story is like, everything is not real, but is it real? It kind of messes with your mind. And I really enjoyed that in this story. And I absolutely loved the characters. I loved Scarlett, although sometimes she did annoy me with the decisions she made and like not asking enough questions. Like, girl, hello? Like, you're in this magical world. I'd be asking every single question in the book. But she's just a girl, okay? Can't really fault her too much. She's just a girl. So I really enjoyed her character, and I absolutely loved Julian. Like, hi sir. I really loved Julian. Their banter and the way they talked to each other and the way they cared about each other. Yeah. Thought that the ending was really crazy. I was like, what is happening? Really enjoyed this. 4 stars. Highly recommend it to people who want to read like a YA fantasy. I read The Dare by Harley LaRue. This is a novella that comes before The Loser's Duet. Are we sick of hearing me talk about The Loser's Duet? If you are, I'm sorry, but I gotta do what I gotta do. If you were to go into reading The Loser's Duet, if you haven't already, I would recommend reading this in the time frame that it tells you to. I read it after, still enjoyed the series. It was fun to read this and sort of get back into the characters in the universe because I love them so much. It was really, really fun to experience this again. This is a spicy novella. It's like 100 and something pages. Loved it. Gave it a 4 stars. My gosh, I'm so in love with Manson. Like, I think he's one of my ideal book boyfriends. Now, you can call me toxic, you can call me everything, but it's the truth, okay? If you haven't read it, you don't get it. You don't get it if you haven't read it. So read it and get it. Behind the Net by Stephanie Archer. This is a hockey romance that follows Pippa and Jamie, and it's a forced proximity assistant boss. I gave it a 4 stars. Really enjoyed both of the characters. Female main character, the way she cared about him and his family. She wanted him to know that he didn't have to just like give up everything for other people, and the way he cared about her as well and showed that in so many subtle ways throughout their daily lives. He reminded me a lot of Ryan Shea from The Right Move by Liz Tomford, which is one of my favorite book boyfriends ever. Like, Ryan Shea, the way he showed his love is very similar to Jamie. Nice acts of service for the female main character without her having to ask. I'm super duper excited to get into the second one, which is The Fake Out, which follows Pippa's sister and someone we got introduced to in this book, and I'm really intrigued by his backstory. Might have to read it soon. I don't know. And I went and continued with my smut and read Give Me More, which is the 3rd book in the Delicious Players Club series by Sarah Kate. Love this book. Gave it a 4.75. Absolutely adore this book. I adore the characters. I adore everything about it. This is like a polyamorous relationship. It starts off with Hunter and Isabel. They are married. Hunter and Isabel have this best friend, Drake, and something happens at the club between Drake and Isabel, and Hunter decides he wants to see Drake and Isabel intimate. Okay? Slowly leads into uncovering feelings, blah, 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 blah. Polyamorous relationship, okay? Isabel, iconic. She is such a good female main character. She cared about everyone and really took into account everyone's feelings and wanted everything to work out, and she had great communication. Hunter, his journey throughout this entire book, I loved seeing him to accept himself, accept his love for everyone. Drake, also, he was such a good character. He knew what he deserved and like what he wanted in this life and really stuck to it. The bond that each of them had, like Isabel, Drake, and Hunter, their bond as 3 of them was amazing. This is the best book in the series. I raved about this so much. Like, I love it. I read the final book of the Delicious Players Club series that is traditionally published, Mercy by Sarah Kate. I enjoyed it. I think I would give it a 2.75. Me personally, like this, you could read this book and be like, wow, this is good. This follows Maggie and Beau. Beau gets a redemption. This is his redemption book because he is the ex-boyfriend of Charlie from Praise. I was really excited to see his redemption, and I felt like his redemption was good, but I feel like it could have been better. I feel like there were still parts where he was really immature, and I felt like his communication really lacked. And I feel like Maggie was such a strong character for having the patience to deal with that. You have to be mature to be in these relationships, and I felt like there were some points where he was super immature. That kind of annoyed me because I feel like his redemption arc was getting tainted by this. I really like the girl being the power and the dominant. I really like that dynamic. But I did like topics that were discussed with Maggie's past and purity culture. She dealt with purity culture throughout her childhood, and I felt like that was really important to touch on, and being comfortable with your own sexuality. I felt like I didn't feel the connection between her and Beau on a romantic level. That's that one. You guys are not even prepared for me to talk about the next book. You guys are not prepared. I can promise you, you're not prepared. I read Bride. And I loved my entire time. You are not gonna pry this book from my hands, okay? Have a reading vlog of this if you want to see all my reactions, because those reactions were good. 4.75 or 5 stars, okay? Haven't decided. Most days this is a 5 stars because I think about this book and giggle. This is a paranormal relationship between a vampire and a werewolf. It's an arranged marriage. Tell me why I was giggling! Tell me why Lo was the best male main character in an Allie Hazelwood book. I've read 2 Allie Hazelwood books, and those male main characters do not compare to Lo, okay? And he's a werewolf. He's not human. So what does that mean? Do I need to like take some self-reflection? I don't know. The things that he said and the way he reacted to the female main character, I was foaming at the mouth. I was gonna turn into a werewolf at the full moon. Like, I was gonna turn into a werewolf at the full moon, going to howl at this man. I don't even know if I should say the things like I reacted to in this book, because like, are you gonna get me? The scene where he like, his scent on the plane, I was giggling. I was giggling, okay? Please go read Bride. If you're gonna read one book in here, Bride is the one. Read it. Thank you so much, guys. Then I read Legendary, which is the second book in the Caraval series by Stephanie Garber. I gave this book a 3.75. I did not enjoy it as much as I enjoyed Caraval, but I thought it was really fun. There were some slow parts, but for overall, it was a pretty fast-paced read. This follows Scarlett's sister, Tella. Also have Dante, who we do see in the first book. I don't remember much about the storyline in which Tella had to endure, but I did enjoy Tella and Dante's banter. I really enjoyed Dante as a character. I feel like I enjoyed him much more than Julian. We also get introduced to Jax in this book, which is the male main character of the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. I enjoyed Tella as a female main character. She was really smart, really thought things out. Dante, like, do I need to say more about Dante? Like, oh my god. Plot twist in this story was written really, really well. I enjoyed the way the scene was written for the plot twist, but did I guess the plot twist? Absolutely. Excited to finish this trilogy and get into the Once Upon a Broken Heart series because I need Jax to have a redemption, okay? Because I wasn't really into Jax for a lot of this book. I was into him for a little bit, but I need his redemption really bad. Then I read Butcher and Blackbird by Britain Weaver. Very popular dark romance rom-com on TikTok. I've heard so many good things about this book, so I was really, really excited to get into it. I think I'm gonna give this a 3.75 or 4 stars. I really, really enjoyed the relationship in the story. The relationship was definitely the best part. Sloane and Rowan had amazing connections. I think the male main character sort of fell for her really fast, and I enjoyed seeing that from his point of view, how much he really liked her and admired her. I felt like there was a lot of significant scenes on both of their parts with growth and opening up to other people and trusting other people, which I really enjoyed. But the gore, okay? I read the trigger warnings. I did read the trigger warnings, and I decided to continue on. Not a fan of the gore, kind of ruined the book for me. I was imagining everything, and I didn't want to imagine everything because it was gross. If you're looking for a cute relationship between two serial killers, which I didn't even know that was a thing, didn't even know I could have a cute relationship between two serial killers in a book. And then lastly, I read Pucking Around by Emily Rath, which is a reverse harem hockey romance. Gave this book a 4 stars. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a little crazy at some points. I love thick books. I love long books. I love growing attached to characters. But this one, I didn't grow attached to any character really. I enjoyed the characters, but I didn't grow attached. Felt like reading a lot of these scenes were unnecessary. Like, I felt like you could have taken some scenes out and I would have still got the same thing from this book. It follows Rachel. She's this team like doctor. Had a one-night stand with Jake and he's on the team. Then she falls in love with Caleb. She falls in love with Amari. I liked Jake, didn't love him. Loved Caleb, really, really enjoyed him. And I really liked Amari for most of the time. So I think Caleb's my favorite. I really, really enjoyed him. I loved the connection that him and Rachel had. Also loved seeing the connection that him and Jake were to form. Overall, I did like this book. I thought it was really fun. I love getting into reverse harem. I really love that dynamic and polyamorous relationships. I will say the spice was iconic. Some of the dialogue in this book was really awkward for me. It didn't flow in a way that I would have loved. And I am excited for the second book. I am going to be getting that because I feel like I'm really going to like that because I liked both of the characters in this book that are going to be in Pucking Wild. So I can't wait for that. Those are all the books that I read in February. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and comment down below and subscribe if you want to see more of my face and more of my videos. And I will hopefully see you guys in the next one. Bye!